Hey guys, how are you? My name is Katie, and we are back for day 22 of the 30 Days of Transformations. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's me jumping on live for 30 days and talking about a transformation I have gone through as I've learned to love and accept my body. And each day I am giving you a little tip, a little takeaway, a little something that you can do in your own life to help facilitate the exact same transformation. Today our topic is having awareness of and embracing my flaws. This is one that I think a lot of people don't really think of when they think of learning to love your body, but it's actually a really beautiful process. So the fact is, when I really hated my body, when I was in that place of like deep self-loathing, I blamed others. I blamed everybody else for my problems, right? Or I blamed my body for my problems. If I wasn't happy, it was my body. If I didn't get the job, it was my body. If something went wrong, it was somebody else's fault, you know? And I was just in that place where it was not my fault. It was everybody else's fault. And as I have learned to love myself, that has really transformed. So first of all, I became really aware of it, right? As I was learning to love myself, I became very aware of myself. I got back in touch with who I am. I got back in touch with my body. And through that process, I became aware of some of these, shall we say, less desirable personality traits. Things like blaming others, things like playing the victim, being judgmental of myself and others, being lazy or kind of half-assing things. These were all things that I became aware of that I hadn't even really realized I'd been doing, but probably most of my life I had been. And it was not really the nicest thing to become aware of these. It doesn't feel good to kind of realize your downfalls, but we all have them. We all have these things. Whether you're aware of them or not, you do have them. And on the other hand, with this awareness also came this beautiful awareness of my positive personality traits that I really loved. And I really learned to embrace them and really fall in love with them. And these are things like the fact that, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a very emotional person. I'm very sensitive. If I'm happy, you'll know it. If I'm sad, you'll know it. Like, I don't hide things. And I love that about myself. And as I've embraced myself more, that has gotten even better and better. Right? Because I've been more and more comfortable in that situation. I'm also very opinionated. I'm loud. I'll tell you what I think in a nice way, but I have strong opinions. I like to be right. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Like I said, I don't want to half-ass things. If I do it, I really want to do it right. So these things that, I, again, wasn't really that aware of before or had never kind of taken into account. I began seeing them and I began really loving them. And just as, we have this idea of flaws, we are all flawed. When it comes to personality, like I like to just say maybe less desirable personality traits. It's not good or bad. It's maybe just, do you want to be that way or not? And for me, those things were not things I wanted. But just like that, we all have this idea that our bodies are flawed. Right? I'm sure it drives me crazy. I'm sure you've heard the expression, learn to love your flaws, or embrace your flaws, or something like that. And I call bullshit. You do not have flaws. Who decided that something about you was wrong? Who decided that something about your body wasn't right, that it deserved to be called a flaw? It's just you. It's you. It's your body. It's your uniqueness, your unique trait, your whatever. It's you. It's not a flaw. Just like when people, if you have stretch marks or if you have dimples or cellulite or whatever, people say, oh, that's a flaw. You can learn to love that flaw. Honey, my stretch marks, they're not flaws. They're me. They're my story. My cellulite is me. It's normal. Most human beings have it. Some babies have cellulite. So really, just like I became aware of my personality traits, I became really aware of those things that had always been flaws. They're not flaws. They're just me. And And through this entire journey of learning to love my body, that has become more and more and more apparent. And if I have something that I don't like about my personality, I get aware of it, and then I can work on it because I'm aware of it. But it's no longer just existing in the background. It's no longer just, an unconscious thing. And every single day, of course, this is constantly growing and changing and evolving, but it is becoming more and more and more obvious to me. As every day I get to know myself better, I uncover another layer. And I'm really still working on loving myself and all of those different things that are coming to the surface. So really the whole message for today is just, as you begin to see yourself and get in touch with yourself and embrace yourself, you are going to uncover different things that you weren't necessarily even aware of. Some you may label good, some you may label bad, some you may label a flaw. But I really just want to invite you to open your mind and see that you're not flawed. Maybe you have some things that you don't particularly like about your personality. That's cool. You can work on that. You can change that if you want to. But you don't have to. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing inherently wrong with you. So really, your takeaway today is, I would just ask you that question. Do you or have you ever been guilty of saying that? I'm learning to love my flaws, or I'm embracing my flaws. And if so, can you change that dialogue? Can you change that wording in your head so that instead of referring to yourself as inherently broken or inherently flawed, you can instead refer to yourself as whole? So I am learning to love myself. I'm learning to love my uniqueness. I am embracing all that I am. Because when you create that change, that shift within your mind, just that reframe of how you are looking at something, it is a complete game changer. And it will really allow you to step fully into yourself and step fully into your self-love and really accept yourself as you are right now. That's it for us today. I really hope that's helpful. If you have questions and comments, whatever, pop them down below. Always. I love interaction. Also, if you have anybody who you think this might help, tag them. Add them to the group. Everybody's welcome. Everybody is always, always, always welcome. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.